Well, hello. We're back at Holdfast Brewing for another Drury University D1 Men's Hockey Program Coaches Show. I'm Kevin Kline, public address announcer. With us is the head coach, Jeremy Law, assistant coach, Cliff Cook. Cookie, are you okay, man? You sound really...
Yeah, I'm fighting it today. A little under the weather. I think something's going around with this weather change, so forgive me if I'm sniffly and sound a little more sultry than normal.
Take it from me as somebody who had to endure that during my career on the radio. When you sound like that, man, you get flooded with the emails from the ladies, buddy. Man, he sounds good.
If only.
Yeah. How you boys doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, I would say you're doing well. 21-2 overall on the year. We took 2 from Illinois State at home. Cookie, I want to talk about Friday's game because you said something to me very interesting after the game. We went 8-4, and you said...
Felt like a loss.
Why?
First period was obviously great. One of the best periods we've played maybe all year, if not ever. And then we had 2 periods that were very mediocre at best. And we can get into the weeds, I'm sure we will, about why that would happen. But the obvious one is you're up 6-1, you think the game's over, and that's kind of how we played after that. But we made it clear to the guys, and they're not dumb. They know that we do that in a few weeks up in St. Louis at Nationals. We're going to be heading home early, so we got to figure out how to put together a full 60-minute game.
Yeah, we scored 6 out of the box, right out of the gate, period number 1 on Friday. I talked to the boys after Saturday's game, and I said, I thought that period you're talking about, the way that they skated, I thought it was right on par with the way we came out against Maryville. Every single one of those players said, I thought our first period on Saturday we skated better.
Yep.
Why do you say that?
I would think, and I'll let Jeremy chime in, the difference in the 2 games, even though the goal differential was exactly the same, Saturday it was a more consistent effort for 60 minutes. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was much more consistent than what we had done the night before. And I thought overall, yeah, we probably did play better because they had to play better. They were playing better. Their goaltender, who I know pretty well, I coached him up in Montana 6 years ago. He the kid that came in, Larkin Dolan, he came in Friday night. He's, put on a pretty good show. He played it much tougher than the first kid did, and we had to be better. So, hats off to them for stepping their game up, especially after that first period Friday, and we had to kind of match that even though we were up big. And we did a better job of that Saturday. Again, still far from where we want to be, but it was a much better progression as far as a complete game.
So, Coach Law, after we score 6 goals in the period to open the game on Friday, what do you say to them in the first period, after the first period in the locker room? I mean, you got to be pleased that they score 6 out of the gate.
Yeah, and like Cookie said earlier too, I think we played well, but I also think Illinois State didn't play so well. So putting up 6 goals, I mean, that was awesome. Like, great as a coach, you love to see that. But I knew we were going to get better from them in the second and third, and I knew we just had to, match our effort and play better.
Well, you're being very kind to say Illinois State didn't play so well. I had an opportunity to talk to their assistant captain, Sam Truxaw, as he spent 10 minutes in the penalty box to start game number 2. Yeah. And I asked him, I said, you guys were starting your second goaltender from last night. What happened with your first goaltender? And he says, flat out, honestly, and this is what you love to hear from a player, we did nothing in front of him. Yeah, he said we just gave him nothing in front of him. Yeah. So, I mean, you love to hear that from your player, but then, again, you don't want to hear it from your player because, well, if you know you're not giving him anything, why aren't you giving him anything?
Well, it's hard to – yes, he gave up, 5 or 6 goals that pair. I can't remember when they put Larkin in, but when we've got 21 shots to their 4 or whatever it was, it's hard – even though he is giving up a lot of goals, it's hard to look at a goaltender like that. And you'll have Robbie on here in a bit. He could probably vouch for that. Like, when we have that much sustained pressure in the zone, the goaltender is in his ready position for an entire 20 minutes, essentially. He's having to face all this. It's not so much the shots he's facing; it's the fact that the play's not on the other end where he can stand up, give his legs a rest, and do all that.
The fatigue factor's got to be huge.
He's got to be gassed at that point.
Yeah. So we're 21-2 overall. We are second in the nation in win percentage with an .870 win percentage. We're 55-1 since moving into the Division I program at Drury University. That's audacious, guys. I mean, you guys realize how good of a program we have in 2 years?
Yeah, I'm excited. I know the future is bright for this program with, as young as we are too. So, we just try to get better every day and continue to improve.
So we try to get better every day. We try to improve. How much does 5.5 weeks off between Mo State and Maryville, and then 3 weeks off because of the snow out, how much does that affect our ability to gain momentum and sustain momentum?
I am actually surprisingly shocked a little bit that it hasn't affected us as much as I thought it would. I mean, arguably the best period our program has ever played was the game after a 5.5 week break. Mm-hmm. So we did have 10 practices over 11 days. Yeah. So we were on the ice a lot, but it's still like just to be able to hop into a game after not playing a game for that long. We were both pleasantly surprised.
So what did you expect us to come out after? We win 8-4 on Friday. We had a great period again to start the game on Saturday. Did you guys expect kind of that effort the remainder of the game, and were you shocked that you didn't quite get it?
We handled that intermission a little different because we talked about it, like, why are we continuing to have this second period drop off? Like, what is happening? We're coming out on fire in first periods throughout the season. It's not just these last few games, and the idea was more of, we're not going to sit here and go, you know what, guys, it's a 0-0 game, do our normal speech. It's up to you. It's a mental thing. You guys have to kind of come together as a team and figure out how we make this work. We gave them a few pointers that we needed to cover, but after that, we kind of left it up to them. Said, you guys need to figure this out. Yeah. There's only so much we as coaches can do, especially this time of year. We've gone through everything we can go through as we're heading into the tournament, but at some point the room kind of has to take those things over for themselves, especially at this level.
And you guys always say that you, as much as possible, let the room govern themselves, and I mean, they do a great job. Yep. They do a really great job.
And we did. I thought, we didn't score as much in the second period, but in that Saturday game, we still came out very hard in the second period.
Yep.
So.
Oh, I thought it was a great period.
Yep.
Oh, I thought our second period on Saturday was phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah. So it did kind of just carry over that first period. Friday evening, we get Matthew Johnston with 2 goals. Beaupre had just a heck of a game on Saturday. Those are your 2 Smoothie King players of the game. Adam Layden gets shot blocker of the game. What do you have, like 4 or 5?
I think we counted 3, maybe 4.
3, 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's awesome when you get contributions from guys who don't see as much ice activity as other guys.
Yep.
I mean, that's how deep we are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's gonna play huge going into nationals.
Absolutely. Yeah. The depth of our team and staying healthy is going to be key coming down the stretch here. So just hope that happens. So
have you had an opportunity to talk to Kuchaslo, because he's been out of the pipes for quite a lengthy time right now, and we're going to rely heavily on him for the last 2 series before nationals. Is his head right?
I think so. We keep in touch with our goalies, let them know who's playing, what the plan is, and he knew he wasn't going to play this past weekend, and he'll be ready to go this weekend. So.
I mean, what you can't anticipate is that a hockey game gets canceled because of ice.
Right.
Yeah. How ironic is that we had an ice storm here in Springfield and we couldn't get to the rink, so we had to cancel a whole weekend against McKendree.
Trying to explain that to 24 Canadians who have probably never had a game canceled for weather. I know growing up, I can't remember any games ever being canceled for weather.
And as we've said for a long time, especially you and I growing up this part of the world, me even further south, and you've lived even further south, is the idea of, in a normal scenario like you would have in Canada with a ton of snow and all that, you'd still be able to play, but with the ice, there's just no way. Mm-hmm. It's a different animal. Yep. I lost count of the number of games in our league across the country that were canceled just because of that massive system that blew through a majority of North America.
Yeah. We weren't the only program affected.
No, not at all. Not at all. Missouri State was supposed to go out to Edmond, Oklahoma. That got canceled. There was a ton of games out east. Other games in the St. Louis area. I mean, just everywhere. That system was massive.
And as much as I wanted to play, I'm all for safety. And
it is.
I'm definitely people's lives are much more important than the game.
As unfortunately we've seen very recently in the hockey world.
Yes.
So
I know that's such a tragedy.
Yeah.
Such a tragedy. If you follow Drury Hockey on Instagram, you can get caught up to speed on what we're talking about there. But 3 junior players lost their lives in a car crash going to a game or from a game. And
and there was a girls' team as well that just a few days prior to that, out in California, dealt with a similar scenario. So it's it's always in the back of our minds. There's, it seems like at least once a year you hear of a story, some that involve more people than others, but one's enough. So, yeah.
One's too many.
Yep.
One's too many. We are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our second segment, and we are going to talk to seniors. We only have 2 of them on the program, and it was senior night on Saturday, and we're going to talk to assistant captain number 13, Francis Young-Menard, and goaltender number 31, Josh Robbins, in segment number 2, which is coming up from Holdfast Brewing on the Drury University, YouTube network. Back at Holdfast Brewing for the Drury University Men's Hockey D1 Program Coaches Show. In segment number 2, we always get to meet a couple of the players, and the players that we have with us today are honorees from Saturday evening. They are the lone seniors on the team this year. Defenseman, assistant captain number 13, Francis Young-Menard. Goaltender number 31, Josh Robbins. Guys, congratulations on a heck of a weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
How did it feel for you, buddy, getting in the pipes and getting that 6th Division I victory?
It was a little nerve-wracking, kind of like haven't played a game in just about a whole year, so it was kind of tough going in a game situation like that after playing not in a game situation for so long, but it was a good game. It was fun, and it was good to be back on the ice with all the fellas.
So how did the 30-minute delay at the start of the game affect your mentality?
I was kind of like just derailing the train totally.
Uh-huh.
I was pretty ready for it, and I was dialed in the warm-ups. I thought I had a pretty good warm-up, was feeling good, and then whatever the guy on their team was broke the glass, and it was kind of just sit around and I had snacks for a while.
So it was during warm-ups, about 3 minutes into warm-ups, and one of their players has some sort of a routine where he goes across the ice and then skates full steam and then jumps and puts his butt into the glass as if he's, I guess, taking a check, and it shattered the penalty box glass. So we had to stop the warm-ups, and then we had to delay the game for about 30 minutes. And you and Layden were the guys that I was thinking about because, you hadn't played in a little while, and here you go with your start, and it's got to be delayed 30 minutes. I just I thought you played great, especially considering that you probably had to ramp up twice mentally.
Yeah, I definitely had to kind of lock in again for the second time. And, I mean, it's not too bad. You kind of get used to it after a while, getting into the zone. But it was definitely a wrench.
Francis, have you ever seen anything like that before where the glass breaks during warm-ups?
I think one time.
Yeah?
Very long time ago. But it was someone shooting the puck, not someone running at the glass.
Did that mess with your mentality at all?
Not really. Not mentality, but I would say more the physicality part, just because we were out for maybe an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just you get cold, so you have, and we only had 5 minutes to get warmed up again on the ice, and then we hop on the ice and we're already playing. So it was more the part of try to get warmed up again as fast as you can. And of course, you can't do your routine that you can usually do, but some things happen, and you have to change stuff. So,
I mean, the way you got to think about it is it's affected everybody, not just me. Everybody's in the same predicament as I am. So, but I thought, man, you guys came out and just skated the blades off of them in the first period on both nights during the first period. What did you think, Francis?
Yeah, I do agree that both games we were ready to come to play, and especially I don't know what's happening in the second and third, but there's something that we've talked about in the locker room. We know there's a problem to address, and we're trying to figure it out and then find ways to be better in the second and third and just play a more consistent game.
Robbie, during the first period, we were talking with Coach Cook and Coach Law, and we were talking about how in the first period on Friday, their goaltender never got a chance to breathe. He never got a chance to rest. How, as a goaltender, when you're facing 21 shots in, it was almost 12 minutes, I think, how tiring and exhausting is that you can never just stand up and stretch?
It's a pretty big challenge. I played my whole life in high school hockey and on teams that were like that, I averaged 1 year I had over 60 shots a game throughout the entire year.
Wow.
As an average.
It's average.
It's a good workout for sure.
Yeah?
It definitely gets tiring. I mean, if you're on a team that's consistently like that, you get a little bit used to it. You kind of just get it beat into you after a while. But at a level like this, it's eventually, if you're hemmed in there long enough, the gates are going to open at one point.
How's your time been at Drury?
My time at Drury has been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously more than just the hockey aspect of Drury. There's the whole university side, which is equally just as good. Both of them have been awesome. People you meet, connections you make, getting a degree, obviously.
Well, you're business major, architecture minor?
Yeah, finance major.
Finance major.
I finished that pretty well early. I only taken one class a semester for the last year for that, and then just kind of pivoted into architecture. It's something I found I enjoy. It's fun to do, so I figured I might as well pursue that as well.
And you're going to pursue your master's in architecture?
Yeah, so I've applied for my Master's of Architecture back at home, and just waiting to hear back on that, and hopefully I get in there, and it'll be a couple more years, and should be done school after that.
And what's the ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal is to use finance, take over the family farm, and use
400 acres in Blackie.
A little more than 400
A little more
acres.
than 400.
Yeah.
I remember talking to your parents a couple of years ago about that. I was blown away at 400 acres.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than 400, but I'll use that to take over that and run that business. And then there's quite a bit of off time in the season. Obviously in Canada it snows for the majority of the year, so it's hard to put a crop in the ground when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground.
A little bit.
I'd like to do some design in the off time and kind of balance those two things out and make some work in there.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it. And Francis, I want to ask you about last year at Nationals, because you were the last person to leave the ice. Then Captain Jacob Holly was waiting for you at the off-ice entrance, on-ice entrance, and you were the last person to leave. Were you thinking about not coming back for a fifth year, and thinking that might have been your last collegiate game?
It was a possibility since I was a senior. It was mostly, like we've worked so hard to get to that point, and it just didn't feel like, we're so far, but we were so close but so far away at the same time. Like it felt like we were far away from the level of Minot when we played against them. So it was a little beat down at the same time, and then a little bit more like at this point I knew I was coming back.
Okay.
But it was more a fact also that, okay, well, I got one more year. Like, okay, this year is done, but after that, next year, it's completely done. So that was more of that part.
Glad you came back?
Yeah, I mean, we're having a hell of a season.
Yeah, 21-2, 55-5 in the last 2 years, guys.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's unbelievable. And just the fact, like, I knew we were going to have a great team this season. So that's what, like, it helped me making my decision to come back, just because, if I want to be here for a fifth year and at least, try to win it all, and if we're going to have a good team, well, it was just a perfect situation and great timing to stay.
Play as long as you can.
Yeah.
And you're a business major, and I think that after college you might have a plan already lined up, might have something already in the works.
I have many options. I haven't taken a decision yet.
That's good. Options are always good to have.
Exactly. So I can either go home, I can stay here, I can go if I really want to. I'm sure I can play pro in Europe. I got many. So I'm just assessing all of my options right now and try to find the best for myself.
So I have to bring this up on a personal level. Will you still have options after February 14th this coming weekend, because you're both going to be away from your girlfriends on Valentine's Day? So is Miss Miranda and Miss Erin, are they going to forgive you for that?
I already had a lot of trouble for that, so I had to find a time and day this week to figure it out and bring her on a date. But at least she understands. She's been in part of my life for 2 years now, so like she's used to it that sometimes I'm not there for the weekends, and
it's the game. It's
exactly.
the life. It's the life that you chose, right?
Exactly. It's basically working for us. So she understands that part. Sometimes she's sad about it, but at the end of the day, she understands.
Yeah, well, when you owe her one, you owe her big. Guys, what'd you think of Springfield? Your time here in Springfield.
Springfield's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously a smaller town. Every town has some little quirks and stuff.
Is it bigger or smaller than Blackie?
Oh, definitely bigger than Blackie.
Okay, what about St. Paul Abbotsford?
Springfield is much bigger.
Really?
Yeah, for me, where I'm from, it's a small village.
Okay.
So we're maybe like 20,000 people in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is a booming metropolis for you.
Blackie's like 400.
Yeah, well, you live in Alberta, so it's much deeper than Quebec.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, boys, it has been a pleasure getting to know you these past 2-3 years, and it's always fun to be able to say your names when you're coming out on the ice, and always fun to just sit back, relax, and talk with you. You're one of the funniest guys I've ever run across, so I don't get to talk to you enough, which is sad, but I do appreciate our time together.
I appreciate that.
Frankie, you're one of the coolest people, man. I've always talked to you about how you're backwards skating. I wish I could skate forwards the way you skate backwards. It's poetic, brother, and I really appreciate being able to watch you over the last few years.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for all the stuff that you've done for the program this year and then the years past, too.
Appreciate that. We love you, boys. We absolutely love you, boys. Number 31, goaltender Josh Robbins. Number 13, defenseman, assistant captain Francis Young-Menard. Did you guys realize that senior day was for the dyslexic? 31, 13?
It is. They mixed us up a little bit.
How about that, though? But, I mean, anybody that can't read forwards or backwards would have easily known that,
Yeah, that's right.
things I recognize. Anyway, this has been segment number 2. We're going to wrap it up with segment number 3, Hold Fast Brewing. It is the Drury University D1 Hockey Men's Coaches Show. In segment number 3, we'll wrap it up with our viewer mail question. Welcome back to segment number 3 at Hold Fast Brewing for the Drury University Men's Division I Hockey Coaches Show. I'm Kevin Kline, public address announcer, head coach Jeremy Law, assistant coach Cliff Cook. You guys were just talking off mic about something that I have never heard before, soft ice. What does soft ice mean?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is it all depends on environmental factors and whatever temperature they have their compressors set at to keep the ice.
Uh-huh.
And for whatever reason, and this weekend, in particular Saturday, a little bit Friday, but definitely Saturday, the ice must have warmed up a hair. And when you're talking about this kind of thing, you're talking like 1 degree can make a huge difference. And so the ice was, exceptionally soft, which makes it harder to. I mean, it's easy to dig into, but harder to get any kind of momentum, any speed. Because
I was going to say, it must slow things down.
Yeah, it slows things down quite a bit. Makes the legs burn a touch more. I'll give you a bit of a story. Going back to my days of playing up in Lake Placid. The facility in Lake Placid has 3 sheets of ice in it. It has the one everybody knows about, the 1980 Herb Brooks Arena, the main rink, but also has the 1932 Olympic Arena, and it's got a sheet of ice in the back. Back then it was called the USA rink. I don't know if it's still called that or if they've named it something else now. It's more of a practice rink. They had seating as well, but it was, and because of back then anyways, I don't know if they still do this, a lot of high-level figure skaters, not just American figure skaters, but you'd have from all over the world would come train there. They set up all 3 sheets of ice to different hardnesses.
Really?
So, if that's even a word.
It is now.
Levels of hard. That just sounds bad. But so like the Herb Brooks Arena, back then it was just called the 1980 rink, now it's the Herb Brooks Arena, was kind of the neutral one. That back kind of practice facility was the soft rink, which of course this is where our coaches like to have our practices, so he would torture us. Because they were also all Olympic-sized sheets of ice, which are 15 feet wider than what we play on, what NHL plays on. That's not really a thing anymore. It was back then. You don't really have the international-size ice anymore.
Okay.
Even the Olympics now is played on what they call NHL 200 by 85. Back then it was 200 by 100.
Oh, wow.
And then the 32 rink was rock hard and fast, and that was my favorite sheet of ice to play on up there. But that gives you an idea, and various things happen. One, it does slow the game down a bit. makes the effort to go up and down the ice tougher because you're digging in more, and the puck can be more bouncier.
Absolutely.
So it just affects the game considerably. And we, for the first time this year, we kind of had that issue this weekend. And as Jeremy was just talking to you about, he said off camera, practice today, they did some drills that we do all year long. But just so happened today, because the ice is still just that 1 or 2 degrees warmer, it absolutely shredded the ice.
Yeah, we tore it up today.
Cookie, you just in that answer there just talked about what your coaches used to do, and I got to talk to Coach Law after practice today about something that your coaches used to do that you absolutely hated, but you make your players do now.
Wait, that's the beauty of being a coach.
I when I first started coaching, I'm like, I remember absolutely hating this, and that I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's like a minute going all out effort as fast as you can, getting up, getting down, like nonstop, burning your legs, and it's a time drill, so you can't slouch off or you're not going to achieve it. So it's a called a Panther pride, and our guys hate it, but it definitely is good for the legs and good for the conditioning.
The one I grew up hating up in New York was we didn't have a fancy name for it. It was just kind of intervals, but because the ice was 15 feet wider, we did board to board, so sideboards, and over and back was 1. We would do 1, had to be done in 11 seconds, then you get 11 seconds rest. 2, 22 seconds, 22 seconds rest. We'd go all the way up, depending on the mood of our coach that day, we could go up pretty high, but then once you got there, you had to come back down.
Oh, no.
And you couldn't stop until either the Zamboni came on, and that guy was always our hero, or you did the last one in 11 seconds, which was nearly impossible. Especially
I was going to say, what happens if you don't do it in 11 seconds or if you don't do it in a minute?
I mean, you watched Miracle. We weren't going to sit here and say, I'm Mike Aruzzi, I'm from the United States of America, but you went until he decided he was done.
Yeah, wow. Glad it was you boys.
Yeah.
But now you get to sit back and watch your players do it. But they know you've gone through that.
And I don't do that one with players at this point, even when I had my own teams, because it's not as much fun because there's 15 feet fewer ice to work with. It's much easier than that. And so where's the joy in that from a coaching side?
We have some other ones like military skate.
That to me is the harder one.
There's some other ones we do, but I think the guys hate the Panther pride the most.
Well, that's the one that they want Cookie and I to do after they win national championship.
Yeah, and that's the one that is not going to happen when we win national championship.
We have a good schedule coming up going into nationals. We travel to Fremont, Nebraska this coming weekend. We're taking on Midland,
and plays. Sorry to interrupt. That's by design.
Oh, I know it is by design. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, because you want to be playing tough competition as you go into the toughest competition of the year.
We talked to John Hogan at Maryville before a year ago to set up these games as we knew two national bound teams wanted to play each other. So
because we didn't do that last year, not only do we have a weaker opponent in the season, we also had a big gap between the last games. Now it worked out well. We had a great tournament. No, not looking past that, but even with that, we knew we needed to make a bit of an adjustment this year to not only have better competition, but have less time off before we played at nationals.
It's crazy what you learn through experience, right?
Yep.
It really is. We go up to Nebraska this weekend. We take on Midland. We've played Midland before, but they have played us very tight. Their conference schedule is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Jan always puts a quality program out there.
Yeah, I was looking at the raw data. I think they have the second toughest strength of schedule in the country.
They are the poster team for strength of schedule.
Yeah.
To the point where it might change some things in the rankings moving forward because they're 7-16 or something crazy.
Yeah, but they're in the top 20.
And they're in the top 20, and so there's going to be people that look at that go, wait a minute, and this isn't coming from us. We love Jan and everything, but that conversation is happening. I've heard about it from multiple people, and they're going to be like, well, what are we doing here? A team that far below 500, but because of their strength of schedule, they're easily into the national tournament.
I know you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they play Minot, Jamestown, and UMary 4 times each?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah.
Plus they play Maryville, us 4 times. I mean,
their schedule's nuts.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think it's a bit. I mean, I applaud Jan for doing it. To me, it's a bit much. You need the balance. You don't want to be playing a top 10 schedule every single weekend. I think that's taking it a little too far. You need some of those other opponents, not to back off anything. You don't want to do that, but there's a level of kind of beating yourself up over time too.
Yeah, like if you're always playing a top 10 team and you don't ever have a chance to back, how do you know your system's working?
Yeah.
When you're playing tough competition like that, how do you know your system's working?
Yeah, we had a nice balance this year. Next year's schedule's not completely final yet, but the initial draft so far, we have, I think, an even better balance of that with the split, I guess you would want, if you want to call it that, between how many top 25 or top 20 teams or whatever and lower, I would say is probably close to 75-25 percentage-wise. I don't know if Lozzie agrees with that. Maybe more of an 80-20.
80-20, so yeah.
And we were close to that this year. I think we're even closer to the 80-20 this year. We were probably the 75-25 or so this year, 70-30. Next year we're about that 80-20.
I think the balance also helps with injuries,
Yes.
like prevention and just staying healthy, which is super important as well.
You want to play the elite competition as much as you can, but at the same time, I mean, look at NCAA football. Our teams, your Oklahoma State guy, I'm an OU guy, they're not playing Alabama every weekend.
No.
They'll mix in University of North Texas. They'll do something like that. Nothing against the mean green up there.
Right, exactly.
But you know what I mean.
I don't think they're watching this show, so
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And then, as you guys mentioned before, we do finish out our regular season campaign up in Chesterfield, Missouri, which is only a 3-hour drive away. So all of you Drury Panther hockey fans, I expect to see you up there because we will definitely be there as we take on Maryville.
What are their ticket prices going to be for that weekend?
I don't know. I'll talk to John about that.
Are they high?
I think they jacked them up for when they played Missouri State.
Really?
Yeah, I think they doubled them.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So, John's like, they're coming anyway, and might as well make some extra money.
No, then we really have to make it hurt then for them on the scoreboard. But no, they have a great facility up there, and can't wait to finish the regular season against them. Let's talk about where we're ranked right now, 5th in the country right now. Will those games have any effect on our ranking at all, positively or negatively?
I think the next 4 games, could hurt us, could help us. They'll definitely have an impact because playing, I think, Midland number 17, something like that.
Yes.
And then
Maryville's 7 or 8.
7 or 8. So, towards as the rankings progress, towards the end of the year, there's definitely less movement because there's so much data that I don't know how to explain it. But
I think the way our buddy Chris Perry puts it, the cake is pretty much baked at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is movement, but it's much harder to move at the end of the year.
Sure.
Like the last weekend, you'll only see 3 or 4 teams move one spot in the top 20, versus halfway through the year, the teams are bouncing all over, moving 6-7 spots.
Yeah.
So there won't be much movement, but it could still affect us.
I think we've talked about it quite a bit over the last few weeks. I think that number 5 spot for us is fairly secured at this point.
And so what will that mean going into nationals?
It means first round bye. We don't start playing. The tournament games start Thursday. We wouldn't start till Saturday.
Wow.
Now the flip side of that, yes, first round bye is great. If you're in the top 4, you get a first round bye, but you're playing Friday, which means you win that game, you have a day off.
Okay.
We would not have a day off. We'd have to win 4 straight days to win a title.
It's asking a lot.
Which is it's asking a lot, but our guys are more than capable of performing at that level for 4 straight days.
Yeah. I mean, you got plenty of more time to do Panther Prize to get them ready to go, right?
Absolutely.
Of course. We are doing a fundraiser for our national trip. So explain that and how can people get involved?
Well, a couple things, too, I want to bring up because it actually came up weirdly today on another Facebook page. Just a reminder, we have apparel for sale.
Yes.
That post went up again today, Tuesday, as we're recording this. So a reminder, you can still get apparel. So that's one. But, yeah, we're trying something new this year. I'd like to say we kind of stole an idea, but it wasn't even our idea to steal from another team on campus. And that is to do kind of a different style of fundraiser for the national tournament where there's 3 options. There's Feed a Panther, there's Feed the Team, and then there's House a Panther. So the 3 options are the Feed a Panther it's a $50 donation and basically, kind of covers a day's worth of food for a player. The House a Panther is what was it,
140, I think, something
like that. Yeah, kind of covers the cost of the hotel for the trip for one player. And then there's the Feed the Team, which is $450, which is, again, it's essentially one meal for the entire team. So we're doing something a little different. It's been going pretty well so far, but all the support we can get as well. And then I know our kind of, what's the word, new booster club that we're trying to get kind of going here a little bit. It's still in its infancy, of course, that obviously your wife Trish has a big part in, and many others. But they're putting together some kind of little care packages and little snacks and whatnot for pregame for the trip. Having the pregame meals and all that's very important. And then, so we've already got a lot of people involved with donating that. And massive thank you to those that have donated throughout this year so far, not only financially but with those little snacks. I mean, the amount of food we had just this weekend in that hallway in the locker room between our team and the Division III team. Well, first of all, personally, I'd like to thank you because a lot of it came home with me after Saturday's game. I have a lot of lunch meat and whatnot that I've been snacking on, but no, it's means a lot to the boys, and it's important for the guys to maintain what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean,
just for reference point too, we spent $20,000 at Nationals last year.
Really?
Food and hotel and bus. So those are major expenses that fortunately we made it as far as we did, but that also meant we were at 6 days in a hotel. And that's it's expensive, so definitely the help is appreciated.
Yeah, any help you can give to the Drury University men's hockey program as they head to nationals is greatly appreciated.
And the last thing I will say too, just on top of that, especially, it doesn't even have to be anybody in the Ozarks here, but around the country. We are going to start pretty early the process of securing new partners and sponsors for next year. So if anybody's interested, we'll put that information on the screen and in the description as well, because we got some pretty cool options for sponsorship as well that will help us not only finishing out this year but moving into next year with some potential exciting trips. We'll see how that plans out. So.
Can never have too many sponsors.
No,
the more the merrier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cookie, we now go to your favorite segment of the program. This is Viewer Mail, and you're going to like this because it's from one of our major fans that show up every single game, Joanne and Bo Clark. I'm sure you guys know both of them. Joanne actually had a question that she said, hey, how do I get that viewer mail thing going? I'm like, just send it to me. So she did. And Joanne from Springfield wants to know.
How did you choose this one over all the other ones we get?
I figured there'd still be time, But Joanne sent this to me earlier in the last week, and I wanted to get it on as quickly as possible. So Joanne wants to know, how do you recruit your D1 players?
Jeremy calls Ken Law. And no, I'm just kidding.
That's a great question. A lot of it is based on recommendations from other coaches or friends of Cookie and I's, and we also have a head scout now, Cliff Heiser up in Michigan. He's done a lot of the work this year for me. He watches a lot of game film and reaches out to players on our behalf. He knows what we're looking for, and I think a lot of it comes from what we hear about a player, their personality, their character, where they played, how they did, their hockey resume, and then would they be a good fit for us? And if they check all those boxes, we set up a phone call with them first, tell them about our program, see if they have interest. The second phone call is with their parents, usually to answer the financial questions and the questions that a lot of Canadian parents are going to have with their young adult coming down to the U.S. and then after that we get them to apply, and if it's a fit for both them and us, we make a formal commitment.
So I chose this because there are some piggyback questions that I want to ask you around this question, and that is, you talk to a coach about a player, and you talk to a player about that player. Whose opinion weighs more? Whose opinion carries more weight?
That's a tough question. They're a little bit of both. So I trust a coach's opinion of how a player plays, like their style, their skill, that kind of stuff. When you're talking about players' character, I would much rather talk to one of their teammates or one of our players that know them, because it's important that someone that's coming to us is going to fit in with our locker room, our attitude, our mission, the culture we have here. So
How much easier does it make your job when, because I know that this happened this year, a guy like number 44, Grady Sterling-Ponick, he commits to here, and then his buddy Tyson Horiachka says, well, if he's going there, I should go there too. Yep. How much easier does that make your job when that kind of stuff happens?
Yeah, that's great when guys, you know, are good friends or come from the same team, they want to come together, and it's someone we both want. That works out great. So we try to find those, I don't know, you want to call them loopholes or, you know, advantages. Like currently we're talking to a couple teammates on one team, and they tend to want to come, you know, more if they know someone that's coming as well. So it's all just finding the right pieces to the puzzle.
Your players at the end of the day are your best recruiters because they're living the life.
Yes.
They're they're with the team, they're in the classroom, they're dealing, like, we're not in the class. We don't really know what the school itself is like. We both went to school elsewhere. So they're, when you get to that point where you've got the interest, it's a lot of times your own players that will reel them in.
Yeah.
So because they can give the firsthand knowledge of what it's really like.
And on the flip side, they're going to trust what our players are telling them versus what I'm telling them.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because of the success and the massive success that we've had as a D1 program over the past 2 years, are your phones blowing up more than what you used to have to go through?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I am overwhelmed with emails. It's great. Literally probably 10 to 25 emails a week from players that have interest in coming here, and a lot of it is where did they play, how are they doing, and then I'll forward it on to Cliff, our head scout in Michigan, and he'll watch some game film and kind of sift through them, and he does a lot of the narrowing down for us. So.
Cool.
Yep.
It was good to have somebody like him.
Absolutely.
Cookie, I got to tell you this because you didn't get to see it, but when the team came over for the Super Bowl the other night, there were 4 players that brought laptop computers and were doing their homework as the game was going on, with all 26 players there.
Yeah, Trish was sending photos to Jeremy and I of what was going on. I mean, that's our team in a nutshell.
It really is, though,
I mean, there's a reason why we had 23 guys on the Dean's List, 10 guys 4.0 or better, not or better, but you know what I mean. And it's a great. We say this over and over again, not to try and sell anything, but because it's true. We have a great group of guys. Mm-hmm. They put in the work, not only on the ice, but 100% in the classroom. It's impressive what they have been able to accomplish in the classroom. We had a 3.79 team GPA in the fall, which is just unheard of. We're not going to take credit for that. The academic side of that, that's all on them. Yeah. And the effort they're going to put. I mean, we've seen it. Like you said, they're at a Super Bowl party. It's the obvious, the option to do classwork is out the window. They don't have to do it, and yet they still are.
Yeah.
And there was even a handful of guys that left early to go do homework.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
The funniest one for me so far this year is when we were was that
we were in Chicago.
Chicago trip, and we went to breakfast that morning, and they pretty much took over the Wi-Fi in the restaurant so they could register for classes. That was hilarious.
Yep.
But no, they're very dedicated in the classroom. It's impressive for sure.
Well, they deserve every accolade and every good thing that comes their way because they do work so hard. Boys, have a great time up in Fremont, Nebraska. Let's bring home 2 road wins and then set our sights on Maryville and Nationals.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Congrats on everything. This has been the Drury University D1 Men's Hockey Coaches Show from Holdfast Brewing. We will be back again next week when we will discuss Midland and then look forward to Nationals, which will be fast approaching. Thank you for joining us.